so many of the firms in Papua New Guinea, but also across APEC, are small businesses, and many of them struggle, just in a general sense, to export and to really tap into the benefits of the global economy. But we can also, in inclusion, talk about women and girls, for example, and we can talk about groups that have been traditionally excluded, sometimes by invisible barriers, from really fully participating in economic growth. And I think of indigenous people, for example. So yeah, we've recently gone back and said we've got to work harder on inclusion. And in fact, in last year, during Vietnam's host year, the economies agreed on an action agenda on economic, social, and financial and social inclusion. And we're going to be bringing forward some initiatives this year. And the Economic Committee is expecting to support those initiatives in various ways. One thing that we're working on is a framework on structural reform and inclusive growth. Structural reforms are primarily domestic policy reforms, but there's also a regional angle because things are just getting more interconnected. Ease of doing business. We've seen really good progress in the doing business rankings for developing APEC economies as a result of APEC's work in this area. We spent a lot of time just having workshops and sharing best practices so that I guess APEC economies can get better at the process of regulation. And if we all get better at regulation, if we make rules that make sense, then that improves the business climate and it makes it easier to do business for all of us. The more complex policy environment means that economies have to rise to the challenge and come up with policies that ensure that everyone benefits. So what do we do about the people who feel that they've been hurt by trade or by these new technologies? Entire sectors, economic sectors, have been wiped out by these shifts. So the Economic Committee has a flagship product called the APEC Economic Policy Report. And last year, in 2017, the policy report was on structural reform and human capital development. And this report came up with a number of examples to help workers prepare for the jobs of the future, including strengthening digital skills training, or what's called active labor market policies, which is a fairly involved set of policies whereby governments bring various pieces together and information so that we can match workers with jobs and help people find and keep good quality jobs.